Hello everybody, this is Defense Politics Asia. This is the Frontline Dangerous report for the past 24 hours for the day of 1177 for the 15th of May. And there is a lot of crazy frontline changes over the past 24 hours. As you can see on the screen, to the 17.96 square kilometers at Pokrovsk front. So some very big frontline changes over the past 24 hours. So stay tuned. So we're going to drop off the black box. We're going to jump straight first to the first frontline change is over at the Lyman front. At the Crispy Lemon, we have frontline changes at Nove. So this is a very small frontline change at Nove. This is just Ukrainian mapping this way, confirming that the entire tree line of Nove is entirely captured by the Russian forces. So strategically, it doesn't change anything because this is pretty much a given thing, that the Russians actually would have taken the tree line after the full capture of Nove. So that's all. Further south of this position at Torske, we have further development. So this is Zaporizhzhia, this is Torske, and over in this junction over here, the Russian forces have been spotted just off to this church, and they have advanced down the street and most likely have control over this region. And this crossing over at the Rebet River most likely is under Russian fire control by this moment. So that's all. Very small frontline changes around 245 meters advance. So based on the geolocation, that's all for the Lyman front. The next frontline change is over at this Bakhmut front at Zaporizhzhia. So this is Bakhmut city, aka Bakhmut, and over at Zaporizhzhia, we have this chunk of territory disclaimed by the Ukrainian mapping. So it's just a very tiny change. Of course, as usual, this is like a foregone conclusion. The Russian forces have taken this area here based on the Ukrainian mapping. That's all from Zaporizhzhia. And the next frontline change, we go to Novo-Olenovka or Novo-Olenovka, which is over here at the New-York front. New York is over here. And then at Novo-Olenovka, which is part of the western flank of the front line. And at this region here, the Ukrainian mapping, this is, you can see, Deep State UA, has made a very, very huge frontline change around here. They have considered the entire region around here as under Russian control. So between the south of Novopetrovka and all the way to Novo-Olenovka, along the highway, this entire region here, that means the Ukrainians have abandoned everything east of the highway. So the Russian forces have fully captured, oops, that's a terrible arrow, capturing all of these regions here. And basically all the fortifications around here is as good as just for show. It doesn't seem to slow down the Russians a bit. Like it hardly. It looks like the Ukrainian forces aren't even defending at all. By the look of it. So anyway, the advance from the north is maybe 600, 700 meters. From the south, maybe 1 kilometer. East to west is around 1.8 kilometers. This is a very, very big piece of capture, and this alone is 6.69 square kilometers. So that's all for the New York front at Novo-Olenovka. As we go into the Pokrovsk frontline changes, and we have after Novo-Olenovka at Melanivka. So at Melanivka, there is this frontline change. This is based on Ukrainian mapping. They have considered that some of these forests, north or foresty strips, are taken by the Russian forces. And the fact that this area here is considered gray zone also means that the Ukrainians have already also abandoned the defensive fortress around there. This entire region is under Russian control. And they still have not considered that Melanivka has been lost to the Russians. They gray zone it, but unlikely. I think pretty soon we're going to get there. There is still a little bit of Melanivka left. But I don't think this is going to last very long by the look of it. The next frontline change is over at Marolubivka. So during the 2 videos ago at the sit rep, I wondered where the hell is Mikhailivka. It's here. So apparently when you zoom out, you can't see it. So but you zoom in, Mikhailivka is here. So yeah, so this is Mikhailivka. This is where the Russian forces claim to have captured it. And they also have claimed to have captured Marolubivka on the 13th of May. We have confirmation on the 15th, 3 days later. Because of these 3 geolocations, Russian forces raised the Russian flag over 3 different locations, fully confirming the entire of Marolubivka is under Russian control. So this is pretty, yeah, very successful capture. I think this went pretty smoothly. So anyway, this is Marolubivka. The total advance is around 1.6 kilometers. So that's all from Marolubivka. The next front line change is over at Novosibirsk. It's also at the Pokrovsk front, which is over here. This is Pokrovsk. And Oleksandrivka, Novosibirsk, Nedievka region, you can see this is a massive big chunk of grounds captured. So we're going to focus on this one first. This geolocation south of the Solona River, just south of Novosibirsk, confirmed Russians advance in this region in a flanking move south of Novosibirsk. The crossing is nearby. The crossing is further west. The crossing is over here. So the Russians most likely is going to try to advance there. And yeah. So which will then allow the Russians to do a rear attack, which then they can pincer from both sides. So this is something that is happening right now. And then another geolocation south of this position, this is actually an attack on Russian motorcycles that was left behind. But the fact that the motorcycles are left behind shows that the Russians were here. So this geolocation, and the fact that the Ukrainians did use FPV drone shows that the Ukrainians are not here at all, which means that the entire line here, including just now the geolocation, this entire chunk here is now fully under Russian control. So the Russian forces advanced tremendously all in the northern outskirts of northern areas of Nedievka. The previous advance, this area here is around 1.26 or 1.2 kilometers. This advance here is much bigger. It's around 3.2 kilometers in depth. And the entire front line is around 3 to 4 kilometers long. So this entire region is now fully under Russian control. Very, very huge frontline change. It does change the tactical situation quite a bit. Strategically, it doesn't change anything because this is a salient. So we already know that the Ukrainians can't hold this kind of salient. So this is a tremendous change, and yeah, pretty big one, as you can see. So the next frontline change after this is at Vinnypole, over at the Komar front. So this is Komar, and over at Vinnypole, the Russian forces has been geolocated inside Vinnypole, and this confirms Russians' capture of Vinnypole. After hard battles for Vinnypole, the Russian forces finally captured it, completing the flush. The Vinnypole twin village capture. So Ukrainians have been trying really hard to defend this place. They have deterred the Russians for a long time, but they still finally have lost the territory. I haven't put out the flag, so let's put it on the flag before I forget. So Russian forces captured Vinnypole, so 15-5. So yeah, just in case I forget, this is all manual, I can forget. And the last front line change is over at Malatomachka, over at the Zaporizhzhia front. This is Zaporizhzhia, and over at Malatomachka, the Ukrainian forces have appeared in this. I have no idea what the hell is this. So the Ukrainian forces detected here, which means that the entire region here has been retaken by the Ukrainian forces. So we shall see how this continue to play out. A very successful, counter attack for the Ukrainians so far in this sector. There is not a lot of place for the Russians to hide, so this is not so easy to penetrate unless the Russians have a firm foothold in Mala-Tomashka. And the fact that Ukrainians have retaken this also does suggest the reason why we have so few reports of fighting at Mala-Tomashka, despite this initial presence of the Russians at Mala-Tomashka. So maybe the Russians attack and then they fail to have a foothold. The pressure is too huge. They withdrawn, and so the battle of Mala-Tomashka did not suffice. So, and that's all of the frontline changes to report. And we're going to do some mathematics. The Ukrainians captured 0.56 square kilometers because there's only one place, so we don't have to do the maths. I want to put it here. Yeah. So let's do some calculation. And so let's do the Russian one. 0.37 plus 0.07 plus 6.69 plus 17.96 plus 2.02. So the total area captured by the Russian forces is 27.11 square kilometers. Very big. So if yesterday it was 10 plus, so if you plus this on, it would increase yesterday's capture maybe to 20. And so it would be 2020. So this is definitely a uptick of the area that the Russian is capturing on the daily basis. If this continues to be the norm, then we will update our brains and to now establish that the frontline change is now 20 square kilometers per day to the advantage of the Russians as a norm. But tentatively not yet. We are still looking at 10 plus. But this is becoming a trend, slowly becoming a trend. So let's see. So thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and also happy birthday to you if your birthday today. Subscribe to DPA Twitter, Telegram, and if you want to support my work, because nowadays, because of the YouTube algorithm, the viewership is significantly lesser. I think by half of where the reach should be. Because of algo change, because they're pushing new channels. So yeah, there's a lot of things. So if you're not subscribed and you watch to this point, I would highly think that you should subscribe, because since you watched to this point, because especially if you are not subscribed, if you don't subscribe, there's a high chance that you will not see this channel so often because of the way how the algo have changed. So I do recommend you guys to subscribe, to keep in contact. And I'm very reachable. You can always talk to me easily, be on Twitter, on Telegram, DPA forum, easy to reach me. You can talk to me personally. So I'm always there to entertain you. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update.